And joining me now is Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. Mayor, it's great to have you on the program. Thank you for making time.
Thank you for having me on, Chris.
First, just where do you see things at this moment as I speak to you around 5 o'clock local time in California?
Well, let me just say that so far we have not been notified of any raids that took place today, and understand that that is a catalyst for just about everything that is happening. But over the last few days, there's 7 raids, one day, 3, 4, 5. It has just created a sense of fear and uncertainty in our city. People wondering whether they should go to work, whether they should go to school.
What has the effect been in terms of the functioning of the folks that live in the community you represent to have these raids happening? And as I understand it, at parking lots, Home Depots and workplaces, among targeting essentially random people who are, working or going about their day.
Well, and let me just tell you, let's go back to what we were told in the beginning. This was going to be gang members, violent criminals, drug dealers. And I have a hard time imagining that's who is in a Home Depot parking lot. In our city, we have day labor structures where people are not just hanging out. And so they were waiting. And day laborers are people who work every single day. They seek employment day after day. They are just trying to survive. And to have them being chased through a parking lot, or to have an office be raided where the family members are calling home saying, hey, I think I'm going to be detained. And then the family shows up with small children and they watch their parents be carted off, and then they can't contact them. They don't know where they are. The people that are detained have no legal representation or no access to legal representation. And from the immigrant rights community, which is a very well-developed, established community in Los Angeles, this is a serious departure from the way things were handled in the past.
The Deputy Chief of Staff of the White House, Stephen Miller, I want to say he has been talking about essentially you and the governor as guilty of essentially insurrection. He keeps using that word, and I want to read to you something he said about you. He said, Mayor again sides with the insurrection mob, tells ICE to abandon the city. Mayor Bass thinks it's shameful to defend the lives of ICE officers performing their constitutional duties, but not shameful that California spends billions subsidizing and rewarding the illegal alien invasion. What do you say to that?
Well, I think it's a despicable comment. The way that our city has been characterized as hordes of migrants that have taken over our city, we're crime-ridden and civil unrest everywhere, is just a despicable characterization for the city that in 12 months is going to be hosting the World Cup. And we are a city of immigrants. There are a lot of sectors of our economy that are completely dependent on immigrant labor. Try the construction industry, where people say that 40% of the construction workers are Latino. I would venture to say that it's a lot more than that. In some areas, it's more like 90%. And so when you hit an occupation or industries like that, the childcare industry, the women who are working in homes, the gardeners who are landscaping, the small business owners who are documented or undocumented, but all of them are contributing to our economy. And so if you create a sense of terror in that sector of our city, then you are going to impact the overall quality of life and economy in our city. I was talking to someone today who said they went to their grocery store and there were shelves that were empty because the people were afraid to come to work and stock the shelves. That's the impact of having raids that are just completely unnecessary.
Since you just referenced this, I want to play you something the president said about Los Angeles. I asked you about the Stephen Miller quote, and I don't want to engage too much back and forth, but the president is directing some significant resources and rhetorical fire at your city. Here's what he had to say about Los Angeles earlier today in front of active duty troops at Fort Bragg.
Within the span of a few decades, Los Angeles has gone from being one of the cleanest, safest, and most beautiful cities on earth to being a trash heap with entire neighborhoods under the control of transnational gangs and criminal networks. It's horrible.
What do you think of that?
I have no idea where he's talking about. It is not Los Angeles. I will tell you that when I look at some of the footage of what is happening, you can get the sense that there is civil unrest happening citywide. I have to tell you that the vandalism and the protest that you are looking at is taking place in several streets, individual streets in the downtown area. It is not even all of downtown. And so to depict our entire city this way, or to characterize our city that our city is under duress, is just not accurate. If you go 1 or 2 miles in either direction, you don't know that anything is happening at all. We do not need federal troops. You want to talk about resources, it's my understanding that the federal government is preparing to pay $130 million to bring troops in a city where nothing is happening that would warrant their being here. That's $130 million that our city could use in preparing for the World Cup.
My understanding, final question for you, is you're considering proactively declaring some kind of curfew. Is that right? And if things aren't so bad, then why?
If things aren't so bad, I mean, yes, we are looking at a curfew because of the vandalism that took place. And last night, several businesses were broken into. The point is, though, is that we can handle this. This is a city that is well used to protests. And one of the protests that the president was bragging about was Saturday night, when there were about 120 protesters out. There was some violence. 20 of them were arrested. LAPD and adjacent law enforcement agencies took care of the problem. He tweeted out and congratulated the National Guard and said that it was because of the National Guard that order was brought to the city of Los Angeles. The National Guard wasn't even deployed until the next day.
Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, who has made a little time for us amidst a very, very busy night. I appreciate that, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.